welcome to For the Culture. It's your girl, MzMuah.
I'm AWB.
And I'm the Diva.
And thank you so much for tuning in to another great edition of For the Culture. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. And so make sure that you are following us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, New Beat Radio, and YouTube. Tonight's show is sponsored by Gems, of course. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How are you, gorgeous queens?
Doing
Good.
good. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was
Good.
busy, but it was good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we are back tonight to kind of bring this in, because if you watched last week, it got heated. Fans were coming out. You know, I thought I was going to have to call the fire department. We were hot.
It was something, but it was good.
It was a
It was
wonderful show, and so we hope to bring that same momentum tonight. One thing that I love about For the Culture is we're going to talk about stuff that matters to us.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about what folks are talking about.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and so I really love that. And we thank you to everyone that has been liking, following,
Absolutely.
sharing, all of our lipstick sisters, all of our sisters in the world, all of our family and friends, and even strangers. People have inboxed us and just said, this show is just bomb, and y'all just go there.
Warm and fuzzy.
So we got to give the people what they need.
What
That's
they
evidently,
want. Yes.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
So tonight, woo,
Yes.
we getting a little touchy.
Yeah.
We'll touch
We are talking about mental health in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to address some things. I'm going to ask you guys some twos and fews. I want to know what you're thinking about it.
Okay.
And I want to know if it has affected you or family or friends, whatever. And we're just going to get into it.
All
There we
right.
go.
Okay.
Okay, so AWB, I
Yeah.
know that you always have research and stats and facts and all these things.
Yeah.
I want to know what you found out about mental health.
Well, let me tell you the first thing I found out. I Googled mental health because, you know, I want to, but it was giving me a whole lot of stuff. So I said, Alexa, what is the number one taboo in the black culture? Mental health
Very
came
much.
up number one.
Very much.
Number one. It says we don't talk about it, we don't want to talk about it, we don't acknowledge it. But I guess my question or concern would be, if our chest is hurting, we go to the cardiologist. You know, if we got some feet problem, we go into the podiatrist. We going somewhere to see something about an ache, a hurt, a discomfort. So why do we feel so against seeking help for a mental situation?
You know, I'll go to a couple different things with that.
Mm-hmm.
As a child of a person who experienced schizophrenia,
Mm-hmm.
and growing up and caring for my father before his demise, rest his soul, you know, I experienced it firsthand. But I think of the movie like Get Out, you know, how
Okay.
we have the stigma that people are going to try to hypnotize us or try to brainwash us, because that's what's been taught to us for so many years that psychiatrists or psychology does, which is unfortunate. Because baby, if you need the help, please go get it.
Yeah.
You know, so, and we can go into, of course, deeper parts of it, but you know, just statistically, we are actually one of the lowest diagnosed, because we are the lowest race that actually comes forth and says that we have mental health issues.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, one thing that I realized about mental health in just my experiences, I'll definitely be open with, you know, my own experiences. A lot of people don't understand it, or they don't believe it, or they don't get it. And so I think that if you're dealing with a lot of people that feel unsupported, why would they
Talk about it.
it,
Yeah, right.
admit it, go get help, phone a friend? Like, if no one understands them, then what's the point?
Well, and then like in our community, you know, the families didn't talk about it, like you said.
Right.
You know, if we knew or we recognized signs of some illness in our family members, that person was kind of like swept under the rug.
Yes.
Well, you know they're a little special.
Yes,
that's it.
yes.
Oh, you know she crazy. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But-
Instead of encouraging that person to go get help,
yeah.
you know, they're like, well, let's keep us in the house.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's the worst thing
that's
we
the
can
worst
do,
thing to do.
because the only thing we're doing is putting a Band-Aid over the scab that's eventually going to come off.
Exactly.
You know, we got to take the meds that they prescribe. You know, oh, I'm getting ahead of the game. I'm sorry.
You're right. You're so right.
That's okay. So we're talking all about mental health, and in our research, of course, we're going to find different things. What is your perspective in particular when it comes to mental health? When you hear that, I want to know what that means to each one of you.
I think of a disconnect with reality. That's my own personal opinion. But then when I started reading, they talked about so many different things. I mean, if you don't take good care of yourself, getting good rest, eating right, drinking water, all of that can affect your mental health, your thinking, your mood, your physical body, you know. Right. So I think that we gotta start talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that, and also add that, you know, unfortunately, there are just too many things that live in the mind of someone that has mental health issues.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I mean, that's, again, you know, as MzMuah said in AWB, I think also a lot of it goes undiagnosed because people don't want to admit that they have the problem, you know.
Yeah.
And even spiritually, I'll go spiritual for a second there. You know, the mind is the own worst enemy in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
You know, I think of even in professional stances, you know, how we can be overcritical of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and that was a good catch. I didn't see that.
Look, I had to get up and adjust. They see a lot of stuff
right?
tonight.
You know, hey,
live.
for those nights, this is a live show. There you go.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, I just really, 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 you know, and thinking about personal life experiences again, you know, not only with my father, you know, dealing with someone who has an addiction. That is also a form of a mental disability.
That is.
And people don't recognize that.
Yeah. They say, oh, he's just a drug addict, he's just a drunk. But that is a part of mental illness.
Exactly.
And I think, you know, again, when we talk about mental illness, we think about the extreme. We think about seeing images. We think about hearing voices.
Yeah.
But that's extreme.
Yeah.
You know, it's an everyday mood where I can't get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Right.
When I think of mental health, 2 words come to mind.
Okay.
Pressure and trauma.
Mm.
The reason that I say pressure is because I feel like with mental health, there is pressure on the mind. And so it's making the mind do and say and think things. Whether it be somewhat minor, where you're falling under, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, but anxiety, depression, those things, or whether it be major pressure and we're dealing with schizophrenia, or we're dealing with, you know, something of a larger scale. So pressure, that's what I think of. And also trauma. Anyone that has experienced a certain level of trauma, to me, there is a certain level of mental illness, or your mental health can be affected by it. Absolutely. And so when I say traumatic, I'm talking about any type of attack, any type of death, any type of life-changing event in a negative way. So I think more of us battle with mental health than what we're willing to admit, understand, or even explain. Because all of us, especially as people of color, have gone through generations of trauma.
Yes.
So if you put it in that sense, then you'd be like, I should probably check on myself and my brain.
And that's it. Yeah, and I laugh, but you gotta check on your brain, especially right now. I was gonna say we just came out of this pandemic, but we're still in it, you know. And if you were concerned about your mental psyche before the lockdown, before just people dying left and right, and if you didn't think, and then if you had COVID, that was a whole nother. You started thinking some things in your mindset.
Yeah.
You know, so you're right. Anybody who has dealt with anything, you're dealing with some sort of mental something. And the best thing to do is, first of all, not keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to somebody. You know, whether it be your spiritual leader, whether it be a trained physician, you got to talk a good friend, but you got to talk to somebody who's going to tell you the unadulterated truth.
There you go.
You know,
For sure. I'll go over some statistics. I can't talk today. Mm-hmm. Again, a live show. Thank you. Okay. So, you know,
here.
Hey,
some of the most diagnosed are people that are identifying themselves with more than one race. I think that still links back to being involved with racism.
okay,
You know, unfortunately, because you know, a lot of times people of mixed cultures don't really know who to identify with.
okay, or not welcome
Exactly.
Yeah.
On one side or the other.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate, but you know, it's reality.
Yeah.
You know, and then after that will be American or Alaskan Indians, which really surprised me. That, you know, they have high rates of mental health illnesses. And then, of course, Caucasians would go next, and then African Americans. But, you know, the age ranges that are affected the most are youth, aged 18 to 25, and adults, aged 26 to 49. Usually over 49, of course, we know dementia sets in some cases, or, you know, other diseases that our culture will experience, you know, which is, again, unfortunate. But, you know, then looking at places that are most affected by the statistics are like India or China or what have you.
Wow.
The U.S. actually ranked lower than those places, and I was really shocked by that. You know, thinking of me walking outside and seeing the person in the middle of the street that, you know, may be playing their guitar, listening to the radio, talking to themselves, singing to them, you know. Mental illness is in our everyday lives.
every day. Yeah,
You know, there are people that were in the military that suffer from PTSD,
right.
which is also considered a form of mental illness. Anxiety, you know, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression were all mentioned as the top 5 mental illnesses.
And how many people do you know that you know personally in your own circles that deal with anxiety or depression?
I do.
You know, I mean, it's so prevalent in our everyday life, and we just kind of, you know, overlook it. And like I said, oh, she's just crazy. Don't. But we can't do that because with mental health also, the suicide rate is very, very high.
I got a question for y'all, because I would like to know. Hey, Tam, one of our sisters is watching. Hey, girl. Hey, Miss Janet. I got a question for y'all, because I just don't want to tippy-toe around the issue, and I want to know what y'all think. What is wrong? Okay, so y'all know how we come together and we gather in groups. And normally if we gather in groups, it is either sport-related or it is either religious, right?
Okay.
Usually that's why we gather. And so it seemed like if we're going to gather in places, we might want to say things that would be beneficial to our culture and all of that. So what's up with the church and mental health?
Well, okay, I'm going to get booed and kicked out of everything.
What's going on? Like, what's up?
My experience, here's my experience. I can't talk about nobody else's experience. The answer to everything is to pray it away. Now, I believe in prayer. I believe in communicating with my Lord and Savior, okay? But I also believe that He gave the doctors, He gave the physicians the mindset, the ability to help.
Right.
I think that's why they're there, to help. So after you get up, after you off your knees now what you gonna do? Because it says faith without works is dead. Is that true?
Very true.
You know? So I think that, like we're talking tonight, and it's not a comfortable topic.
Right.
It's not. Because what I realize, they also said part of mental health is when you withdraw and you go inside.
Yeah.
Man, that's my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Because I will go away.
Yeah.
Walt Hawkins said, I'm going away.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
There could be signs of depression.
It could be
exactly.
signs of depression, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like you said, who don't suffer?
Recently, I went to therapy for the second time. Just behind my father's death, I really battled with that. And my therapist could literally tell me what I was doing. He said, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're avoiding people. you are having these kind of thoughts, you're doing this, and I was like,
So get out my book.
so listen, so people are actually trained
Yes.
Right.
to help us
Yes.
and to understand what we're going through,
Mhm.
especially in trauma.
Right.
And especially in dealing with certain things. It is okay to talk to somebody. What do you think the issue is with church and mental health? What's going on?
You know, I think a lot of it is image. And I can't say that I've experienced this in my own church because I have seen them welcome people that come in off the street that clearly are suffering from mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
But I have experienced it in churches where they just shun the people away or turn the people away.
Yes.
And that's so unfortunate because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, again, going spiritual, you know, the Bible says come as you are.
That's it. That's what it says.
You know, so we are to, as Christians, embrace those people, love on those people, kind of try to figure out how to try to help those people. Granted, some of them don't want help, and that's
right.
okay.
Mhm.
You know, but we have to at least make the effort as a Christian.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in, this is For the Culture, and tonight we are talking about mental health in the Black community. I thought this would be a really good topic for tonight because of the pandemic and what we have been experiencing for the last 2 years and how difficult mentally this has been because it hasn't been our norm.
Right.
Norm is you get to go where you want, you get to do what you want, you get to see where you want, see who you want. There was a lot of confinement for everybody. And so in confinement, yes, you know, you get to relax and you get to kind of chill and be your whatever, but there's also a lot of thinking and a lot of pressure because you're like, well, what is really happening? And when you don't know what's really happening, I think it's more pressure on the brain.
And because you tend to think the worst.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
whatever's going on, and this is in all kind of situations. If your boss calls you to the office, you're thinking, oh God. If the principal calls you to their office, you know, and I think along with having to go inside, you couldn't hug anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and we're humans. We are, we're touchy-feely type individuals.
Yeah.
And if those folks wasn't in your own house, if it wasn't your four and no more, there was no hugging, there was no touching.
Yeah.
You know, and we desire touch, intimacy.
Yeah.
As a people,
Yeah.
One thing that I try to do with Lipstick, if you follow us, then you know we have an empowerment group, podcast, and a mini boutique. Come shop today. But one thing that I try to do with us throughout this pandemic is keep us connected and try to keep us talking to each other because I believe it's healthy.
Right.
Because if you're shunned away and you're not seeing anyone, you're not talking to anyone, after a while, I don't know if that's good for you. I don't know if, I mean, like we got people doing some erratic things nationwide, right? Different races. Well, that may have a little bit to do with the fact that we've been confined for years. Even if, which we've spoken on him before, rest his soul, George Floyd in that situation, we were in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
So imagine everyone's mental health, everyone is tired. They're like, you know what? You getting this work today.
Yeah.
Because guess what? We already stuck in the house. We can't go anywhere. And now you want to kill us?
Yeah.
This is, and so
And
it
we
was
get
the
to watch.
worst.
We get to watch because everybody's got a camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, things that were going on all the time anyway, but we get to see it firsthand now.
Do you guys battle with mental health? And if so, what is it? Let's help somebody who might be dealing with something too.
I battle with depression.
Okay.
I have this thing where I don't ever feel like I fit in. So then what I do is I take myself out, you know, and that is in itself harmful.
Yeah.
You know, because again, you're always thinking the worst.
Yeah.
Trying your best to see the positive. So what I've been doing now, you know, anything that you rehearse becomes a part of you.
Yes.
So I've been trying to rehearse positive affirmation,
Yeah.
just saying things to myself to keep moving. Because if I don't, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
You know? And then after COVID, now I'm dealing with my speech. I'm dealing with just all kind of physical situations.
Yeah.
You
It'll
know,
mess you up mentally too.
it'll mess you up
Yeah,
mentally because yesterday you were this and today you're here.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, wait, how did that happen and who?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's hard too. So if you don't surround yourself with people who are going to, first of all, cheer for you
Yeah.
lift you up,
Yeah.
you know, and say to you, hey, come on, you got this, keep going.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, we got to do that for one another, say, keep going. You know, I always, you know, the saying, the famous saying on Facebook is, check on your strong friends.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a true story. You have to, because we're out there, you know, taking lunches to folks. And,
Yes.
you know, paying bills because
Yeah.
somebody is struggling.
Yeah.
And then you sitting in the corner in the house like this.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to
Yeah.
think, and then thinking, well, I want somebody, I want somebody to bring me lunch. You know,
Yeah.
and so yeah, if you don't seriously check yourself, I mean, you can wreck yourself.
That was good. Diva?
I definitely have suffered from PTSD
Okay.
in some forms. I was not in the military, but you know, just life experiences.
Yes.
So yes, I have, and I think because of that, and then also again dealing with a father who was schizophrenic, and that went undiagnosed for so many years, and having to learn to cope and deal with him because of being his caretaker. You know, I think that I look at things totally differently now.
Yeah.
You know, I try to, well, I've always been one that actually tries to be compassionate and give the person the benefit of the doubt. You know, I'm not the one that runs from, who was that lady? Okay, so the indie people know her. She used to be on 38th Street all the time. I forgot her name. And then there was a guy on 38th Street also on College around that
Right,
area.
I remember him.
Mr. Radio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
him.
and
Yeah.
Frogs was down there on College.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to be around there. You know, so I'm the one that used to go up to those people and speak. And like,
Okay.
hey, you know, that's me.
Mhm.
You know, I know. But at the same time, you know, being put in situations where my life was actually in danger,
Yeah.
you know, from mental illness,
Yeah.
you know, is something also that I've had to deal with. So
Yeah.
it is easy. I'm the kind of person I like to be in my house anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love my sister girls, so when we get together, you know, it's an event. I'm
It's
just saying.
a good time.
It is. You know, even if we're just like in front of the TV, you know, and
Yeah.
on the radio, it's always a good time with us, you know. But I love the fact that we allow each other to be human.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, you know, us as a human being.
Yeah.
The brain operates a lot of everything else that goes on in our lives. So.
Yeah. I have dealt with a plethora of things. Depression, anxiety, and PTSD as well. But when you are a person that has been subject to different kind of abuses, that kind of travels with you. Physical, sexual, emotional. It goes on with you in life, even if you feel like it wouldn't. Different things may make you feel uneasy or whatever. So it took a therapist to tell me, just so you know, you do have a portion of PTSD. And I don't even think she said a portion. I'm saying that to y'all.
Okay.
But she was like, because certain things make you feel a certain way.
Right.
Or
Trigger you.
certain environments trigger you.
Yeah.
And so even if you know me, you know I love concerts. I've been to a few recently. We going to a few in the future, so we need to get on the road. Let's get that plan.
Yeah.
But I don't like crowds.
That's the deal.
I don't like crowds. They make me very, very
Yes.
anxious.
Yes.
So it's like I have to talk myself into it. I have to make sure that I'm uplifted. I have to make sure that I'm in a good place. Because if not, I can have a whole anxiety attack. What's crazy about mental health and the different facets of it is that I have come across people, and I won't name any names at all, but that do not recognize it to be a thing. It's almost like, oh yeah, but you'll be okay.
What?
But my brain
Yeah.
and my head and my heart is all feeling something. You gotta show some type of compassion. Even if you don't always know what to say, what to do, you have to understand, okay, that this person is experiencing something. Let's see why and what we can do to help get them forward. Affirmations, like you said, absolutely. I have an affirmation wall in my home, and I've passed that gift on to some of my sister friends. Put this in your home. It's a constant reminder of positive things.
Yeah.
I'm huge on listening to positive things. I'm huge on being around positive energy. Why? Because it fuels my soul. Because my soul can already be heavy. It can already be dark.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be around the negativity. I kind of shield myself as well, like you said, because I'm like, whoa, we got to do that. I don't want to do it. And so we have to be mindful of people as well and say, hey, they act like this maybe because they're trying to protect themselves and you. I think if we are looking at the industry right now, we don't have to name any names because we ain't going all into that this week, okay? But if we look at how some people are responding to certain things, I think they're kind of having tipping points and breaking points right in front of us. Do you think as a people we can do a better job at recognizing when someone is in that place or headed to that place?
I don't know if we can because we refuse to acknowledge it. Acknowledgement is key. You know, we're talking about us. We're talking about our situations, okay? So if I'm having a moment where I'm stepping back, somebody gonna call me now and say, "Hey, what you doing? What you doing? What you gonna do? Hey, you know." But what we have to do is we have to open our mouth and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because people will. I'm really, really a quiet person. You know, so to work in the public, to be sitting here, this is out of my character.
Yeah.
You know. But I love what I do, don't get me wrong. But it takes a minute to get the brain cells to working to say, okay, we're getting ready to do this. We got. It's almost like I turn on. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you put it on for the people. You know, and then when it's over,
on for
hey,
my
Don't get us started.
I mean, but that's what it really is. But you have to acknowledge it, and you cannot be embarrassed about it.
Right.
I was listening to someone talk about someone else that has a situation. Okay, and one of the things they said was, "Oh, well, they don't want nobody to know."
Wow.
Oh, they're embarrassed. You can't be embarrassed because you've got a situation.
Yeah, because you got to come out of it.
You got to come out of it. You got to, you know, like you were saying, surround yourself with people with positive energy. You know, I know we're on this whole vibe thing, and everybody's talking about toxicity, and I didn't say that right.
No, we're gonna roll with that. We're gonna go on here. Yeah,
but you got to do more than be trendy.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You also have to know your own limitations.
Sure.
If you are constantly feeling away because of a certain environment, because of a certain situation, because of a certain person, you probably shouldn't be around them. One of the things that my most recent therapist helped me with is, he said, Ryan, based off what you're telling me, this person is making your anxiety worse. This person is not helping you get to the calm place that you're trying to be at. And if you're paying attention to yourself, you're calmer when you're not around this person. And I was like, dang. But you know, sometimes we want what we want, or we want to be where we are, or we want to go where we're going. So we don't want to hear stuff like that. But are you paying attention to how these people, these places, and these things are making you feel? What about you?
And then why?
Okay, so I'm gonna come from the other side of things.
You always do. You always do.
You know, okay, have you ever thought about, and do we recognize that actually some people with mental illnesses are geniuses?
Yes.
Look at the people that have, a lot of creative people suffer from some form of a mental illness, but they're geniuses.
Right.
You know, even people like radio. You know, that's one that a lot of people recognize from a movie.
Right.
Or you know, even Rain Man. You know, Dustin Hoffman played that character. They were based upon real life people.
And what about the professor? I can't think of the name of the movie right now, but he was a professor.
Yes.
You know,
A Beautiful Mind.
A Beautiful Mind.
There you go.
That's it. And that was a wonderful movie.
Exactly.
Wonderful movie.
You know, so we have to also consider that when we're talking about mental health. You know, that these people are very gifted in a lot of senses or a lot of realms. You know, people with autism. You know, they can be on or totally off the autism scale. But on the other side, they can be, you know, total geniuses. You know, and can
creatives.
Exactly. And calculate, you know, things in their head that, you know, it would take me a calculator in about 5 minutes to do. You know.
Right. Exactly.
So it's just, we really have to be aware. We have to be cognizant. We have to stop hiding the fact that we need help. Suicide.
Yeah.
Talked
Yes.
about that briefly.
Yeah.
I've had someone that was very close to me commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think a lot of, now looking back, again, I saw signs, but I didn't think that they will actually go through with harming themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to stop saying that as a people because we need to know that they're going to harm themselves.
Yeah.
Or try to prevent them from harming themselves.
Yeah.
Granted, at the same time, if a person really wants to harm themselves, there's really nothing you can do, but you can make an effort.
You can
Yeah.
try. Absolutely.
You can make an effort.
Yeah.
You know, I just think for my own personal sanctity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I have to do what I call defrag, you
Okay.
know, because, and I'll go spiritual again, you know, I take on people's energy
Yes.
a lot, you know, because I am a compassionate person.
Yeah.
I am endearing, you know, but I had to, for my own sanctity, start to realize, hey, wait a minute, that's not your battle.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can still be there for a person, but not take on
Yeah.
their battle.
listen, you know what I do? I can be sitting and talking to someone or a group of people, and I'll hear, well, I don't have any food, or I'll hear, this is due, or I'll hear, this. And before you know it, I done been to the grocery store,
Yeah.
to the utility shop, all
Yeah.
these places, taking care of other people's business.
Mhm.
And here's the deal. Here's a hard lesson I had to learn. Then I'm looking at them because they don't appear to be grateful.
Mm.
They ain't asked me to do nothing. They did not ask me to do anything. I just jumped in and tried to save the day.
Yeah.
You got to stop. You got to stop. You got to save yourself,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, who else going to do it?
Yeah.
But what we got to do is we've got to learn how to show grace.
Yeah.
Okay? Because everybody ain't crazy.
Right.
They just got some issues they're trying to work through.
Another thing too is be mindful of the energy that you're possessing and that you're giving off to other people.
Exactly.
One thing about me, if I know I'm in a bad mood, you're probably not going to talk to me, or not as often, because I'm in a bad mood and energy is transferable and I don't want to give that to you. And a lot of times the things that I'm in a bad mood about, I've been in a bad mood about before. So I don't necessarily even want to talk about it anymore, because this is what the bad mood does. It comes back. It is what it is. But we also have to understand too, that doesn't mean someone's acting funny or they don't want to be involved with you or something like that. Sometimes people are just trying to manage their mental health.
Yeah.
They're trying to manage themselves. And we don't always know how to do that. Why? Because this is not something that was taught to us. We're figuring it out as we go.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Taraji P. Henson. Shout out to Oprah Winfrey. Shout out to Charlamagne the God. And so many people that speak on mental health. Iyanla Vanzant. All of these people speak on mental health and things that you can do to help yourself or their own experiences. I'm so happy that people are finally speaking out about this.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, people looked at me like I was an alien. But I knew that it was something else going on. But if you never experienced it, then you're not going to get it. You know what I mean? And we have to be mindful of how we're treating other people.
Right.
So now that we talked about what it is, what it looks like, what do you guys do to keep yourself sane? Like me, I'm an outgoing introvert. So that means sometimes I'm very introverted. I'm in my home. It's on purpose. I'm not answering the phone. It's on purpose. I want to watch Power. I don't want to be around people because I'm recharging, right? I'm recentering myself. But then other times I need to be around people. And I'm like, hey, what y'all doing? And blah, 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 blah. That helps keep me sane. What do you guys do to help you with your mental health?
After I go in the house, okay, I've got a good book. I'm lighting my candles, and I've got some Nancy Wilson in the background. Okay, I've got to listen. I've got to.
Really?
I've got to decompress.
Yeah.
I've got to breathe a little bit, and then I try to think on. I was listening to all this weekend, Walter Hawkins, Be Grateful, that's my joint, I'm going to tell you. I listen to that over and over and over again because there's somebody else that's worse off than you. You know, and we've got to learn how to, when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I look around my house and I say thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when I couldn't buy a house.
Yeah.
You know, I look at my vehicles and I say thank you. Because I remember pushing my car down the street.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I do to kind of pull myself back in. I start to, gratitude, you know.
I have a conversation with the man upstairs.
Okay.
You know, that and I try to go outside and be one with nature. Usually I get clarity, I get confirmation, I get clearer thoughts being out, especially about water. I'm a big water person.
Yes.
You know, so I'll do that, or I'll go on the phone with one of my sisters, you know, or I will simply just allow myself to cry.
To feel it.
To feel it.
That's good.
You gotta
You know,
feel so you can heal.
That's
Exactly.
good.
You
Yeah.
have to release
Yeah.
it. You have to
Yeah.
release it because, you know, I particularly have been one that holds a lot of stuff in, and then by the time it comes out, it's like, boom. You know,
So
so,
you might walk up and slap somebody.
you know, I might have been wheeling one time or another.
Now listen, y'all. We moving on. We going. We ain't going every night.
But, you know, you get the gist of it,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
There, you definitely can react to things
Yes.
in a non-positive way
Yeah.
if you hold them in.
Yeah. You know, another thing that I think is great, get your playlist together. That hype music, those songs that you love that get you upbeat, that get you moving, that helps when you are feeling drained. So I got a little T.I., I got some Gotti, I got some Nas on there. Y'all know I love my MCs. I got some Jeezy. I could keep going and going and going. Then I got some Justin Biebers. I got some random stuff too. I got some Shaka Khan. Don't you let that body. I got some things that I know when I'm not feeling my best. Ooh, Beauty by Drew Hill. Listen,
Yes, honey,
listen. They talk about me, okay?
That's a good one.
So listen.
Yes.
Get you a playlist together too, because it'll help lift your spirits, especially if you're dealing with something traumatic.
Yeah.
You just had a baby, trauma. You just got married, sometimes that's scary as I don't know what, trauma.
Yeah.
You going through a divorce, trauma. You got a death you're dealing with, trauma. Your job sucks, trauma. You went to jail, trauma.
Yeah.
You broke, trauma. I can keep going. We all are dealing with some type of trauma. But you got to know, okay, call a thing.
Thing.
It is what it is. What it is. I'm feeling this.
Yeah.
I got to let it manifest. Okay, and now I got to move it forward.
Yeah.
It don't have to stay here. I can move it forward. And so then make sure you're surrounding yourself around people that keep you centered, that keep you happy. Dramaful people, I don't want you on my line. I don't want you to call me. That's why I don't answer the phone. Or that's why I don't talk to you. Because I don't want to hear about the twos and fews of everybody else. I don't want the drama. I don't want the... No. When we get together, y'all know me, we're going to laugh real hard. That's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Because life is really short.
We might dance a little too.
And we're going to dance just a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? Because life is really short and it's already hard enough.
Yeah.
And we're all dealing with something.
Everybody's so stressed.
Everybody is
You
stressed.
gotta find the
Everybody is
silver
so
cloud,
stressed.
the silver lining in the clouds.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to find that. There's
You
a
have
positive
to.
in every
You have
situation.
to.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation, and I know some of them definitely seem dire and like there's
They
not
are.
positive.
They are. They
Yeah.
are dire. But you do. You find the
Exactly.
silver
Exactly.
lining.
Because
Absolutely.
each day we get up, guess what? We get a chance to do things differently.
Yeah.
I can breathe.
Because I can complain. Did y'all get COVID? Because I got a leg problem. I'm only 30-something years old. I got a whole leg problem because COVID was here. It's the gift that keeps on
It's the
giving.
gift that keeps on giving, ain't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you wanted to be angry about something, you can find a reason. We all are dealing with different things. Health, job, relational, kids, whatever.
Yeah.
Find something to be happy about. Get your playlist together. Get your movies together. Get your favorite shows together. Keep yourself uplifted. One thing that I'm big on is I listen to inspirational people as well. E.T., he gonna yell at you, but he's gonna inspire you. He gonna tell you to get up, and you gonna keep moving through this thing. And so it's important that you're listening to things that are positive. Because I like my trap music. Don't y'all judge me, okay?
I won't judge.
But I can't listen to that 24/7 because I gotta have something that pours into me as well. So I listen to Pastor Furtick. Now Bishop Jake, sometimes he'll have you on the floor. I can't really do that at work.
Baby.
You know, he will gather you. So I can't always
Yes.
do him, but Play things that will help you in a positive light and stay around positive energy. It's not being funny. If you're already tense and you already are battling what you're battling, know yourself enough to know what to go and what to know. Yeah. So, what else did we learn about mental health that we can pass forward to our brothers and sisters?
A couple of things. I want to read this list. Okay. Positive things that you can do, and you've already touched on them. Okay, but this is on my list. Okay. Getting professional help. That's number one. That's number one on the list. That is huge. It will not hurt you, and you should not be embarrassed to talk to someone. Connecting with others. Okay. You got to connect. Even when you don't want to come out of the house, you got to connect.
Okay.
Staying positive. Getting physically active.
Yes. Yes.
I've had a gym.
Stress relief.
I've had a gym membership for about 15 years. I've been once this year.
Get your life together.
Getting enough sleep.
Yes,
that's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge because when you don't sleep well, it affects everything. Not
True
only
that.
are you tired, you're groggy, you're anxious, you're grumpy.
Yeah.
You get RBM.
You know.
Oh, the face. I had to catch on. I was like, what is our... Oh, okay.
Look, here's a big one. Here's a big one. Helping others.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes you feel good.
You get out, you get to come out of yourself and your situation because you are trying to help others, uplift others, doing something for someone else. Lipstick Entertainment, we need new members.
Yes.
So come join us.
We'll have you in the community before you know it.
And then the last one is developing coping skills.
Yes.
And everybody, this is huge because you got to know yourself.
Yeah.
You got to know yourself, what you can take, what you can't take. And then if you are in a situation, what you can do to help yourself.
Yeah. Another thing I think is very helpful that should have been on this list, know when to say yes and know when to say no.
No is a big word.
Yeah.
No is a big word.
Yeah.
And it will save you a lot of trauma.
People will look at you real odd when you say no. No matter how many times you have said yes.
Exactly.
No matter how many times you said yes. But something one of my former bosses told me, we had a situation, and his response was, "What have you done for me lately?"
Ooh, ow.
And I was like, "Wait, what?"
You was confused.
I was so confused because first of all, he was my boss.
Yeah.
Second of all, why are you quoting Janet Jackson to me? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he was so sincere. You know, what you did yesterday was yesterday. What's happening today?
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know, I'll go along with that and say, you have to remember, takers don't have limits. That's why you have to set your own limits because, baby,
they will keep on.
You can give and give and give and give, and you can give your last. But guess what? The hand's still out.
Ooh, that was good.
One thing that I learned a long time ago, you know, your takers keep on taking. When people ask to borrow money, you know what? I will tell them, I don't loan money, but here you go. That way, I am not hurt. I am not hurt when you walk past me in your Gucci belt.
Ooh.
And you still owe me.
Not the Gucci. Okay, the Gucci belt? Okay. they paid for that.
They paid for that.
Okay.
So they could have gave me
the real order knockoff. They paid for that. Yeah.
They could have gave me my little mealy. So here, gift.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
But here's the deal with that. And my uncle taught me this one. You can't come back no more.
What she said.
Ooh, what she had said. If you missed tonight's show, you missed the gym, but that's okay. You can watch us on the rewind. You can watch us on YouTube. It will be there tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching and sharing. Tonight was all about your mental health. We want to be mentally strong in our community. Absolutely. So we had a tough conversation tonight where we gave some twos and fews of our own and things that we experienced, because once you talk about it, you acknowledge it, you feel better, and we can pass that on to you. Make sure you have things to keep yourself lifted. Make sure you're around people that help keep you uplifted as well. It's all about your mental health. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you guys next week. Shop gems, y'all.